Welcome back to our attendees. Our next speaker, Frank Molla, Managing Director of Sub-Saharan Africa at BPC, speaking on today's topic, the great digital transformation in Africa and how to mitigate fraud in the region. Over to you, Frank.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, really excited, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of the speakers this afternoon. Frank Molla is my name, Managing Director and Head of Sub-Saharan Africa at BPC. And basically what we do is, we like creating digital ecosystems, building new ecosystems using digital technology. And I mean, this is very exciting and interesting to speak. And I often tell a number of people that Africa is no longer an opportunity. Africa is happening. And so is Sudan, right? And if you had a chance to look at the brochure, which the organizers of the event had sent through, there's a line that really captivated me. The future looks bright for Africa. It is a region that is set to be transformed not only by digital acceleration, but also economic growth that technology tends to follow and inspire. Again, banking on the future of fintechs could prove to be a groundbreaking moment, specifically for Sudan, as it builds bridges and rejoins the global financial systems. Again, if I think of the peace agreement signed last year, it's a great indicator that Sudan is also happening. It's no longer an opportunity. Think of the potential that we can already see there. I mean, 38 banks, over 800 branches, over 7.6 million mobile accounts, including e-transactions in 2020. Sudan is already happening, guys. It's no longer an opportunity. But just the same way, I would listen to the previous speakers, and the previous speakers were talking about cash is still, king in the market. This is the same thing globally. In Africa, so to speak, cash is still king in a number of countries. So I don't feel like Sudan has been really left so much behind. And we've seen recently schemes like Visa and MasterCard really getting into the market. That tells you there's a lot of potentials. But again, payments still if you think of payments, it still remains a gap, but at the same time, a very, very huge opportunity. Sudan, just like other African countries, there's low ATM penetration, low POS penetration, low agency banking network. This is not unique to Sudan. We see this across sub-Saharan Africa. Actually, interesting is, if you think of POS or even, agent banking, one of the interesting thing is countries have a lot of POS machines, but a number of them are dormant. So again, I don't feel like Sudan has really been left so much behind when it comes to this digital economy. But again, it's just happening. And like I always say, let us not waste a good crisis. The future is in digital payments, and fintechs are the best place to drive this. We live in a region where it's all set to be transformed not only by digital acceleration, but also by the economic growth that technology tends to follow and inspire in Africa. I want to give a very, very good example, which I still feel that, Sudan has a lot of potential and areas to borrow from. I like when one of the speakers talked about we can have global initiatives coming into the market, but there is importance of localizing all this so that they can suit Sudan, but again, not just specific to Sudan. I'll give you an example of, where we are doing a number of things like Time Bank in South Africa. Basically, Time Bank means take your money everywhere. Acquired 3.2 million customers in just 17 months of operations, okay? Making it the world's fastest growing independent digital bank. Over 50 of its customer base are active each month. And what we also realize is the fact that deposits have been rising at around 10% per month. It's one of the fastest growth among women clients, representing 50% of their customer base. Overall, the future looks bright. And again, with right partnerships and collaborations, and as BPC, we are very, very much proud to have partnered with Time Bank to make this a reality. So if, again, I borrow this and I think of Sudan or any other country, we can easily borrow some of this already happening collaboration and partnerships, and see how we can leverage this into Sudan. The other example I wanted to share with you is recently the Vista Bank Group partnered with Paytech Sign of Further Payments. And this was purely to drive payment adoption across the region. And this will centralize payments operations at Vista Tech Hub in Senegal, overseeing activities in Guinea, Gambia, Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, and as part of broader expansion strategy, we talked about Burkina Faso, there's Togo, there's Cote d'Ivoire, and Mali. It means, and basically that Smart Vista will run on BPC's flagship payment suite, which is called the Smart Vista. What is it be doing? We're talking about to manage card issuance, we're talking about life cycle management, payment switching, ATM and POS sales management, and of course to provide digital channels such as mobile banking and in-wallets. So if you think about, bridging the digital divide, and we are very, very much keen to have a footprint into Sudan, as we're already doing in a number of countries in the region, to be able to see how we bridge the digital divide. But the other thing I wanted to allude to at the same time is, and as Sudan is opening up, and so are other African countries, is fraud is also becoming a very, very big gap in the region. Very, very big gap, and it's something that needs to be looked at. Now, some of the things that we've seen around fraud is some basic things, honestly speaking. If you're talking about customer education is still an issue. Customers still fall victim to fraudsters, even working class individuals like myself, lack of proper background checks and inadequate trainings and compensation for critical operations staff, especially in financial institutions. We see this a lot because this leaves rooms for insider and outsider collaboration. And this is still being exploited today as we speak. There's also absence of or inadequate fraud management solutions. Some institutions still do not consider the long-term benefits of investing in a robust, extensible, and scalable fraud management system. But they should, it's like insuring your car. You just never know when there'll be an accident. It might be mild or it might be severe. So fraud is not really something we can overlook. And I think as Sudan is starting now, and as Sudan is speaking up, it is important to think of things like national fraud and how do we mitigate around this. Well, there are some very basic recommendations when it comes to fraud, because for us, we are currently witnessing an unprecedented uptake of digital financial services, of which COVID-19 is a major driving force. There's an increased demand of contactless and proximity payment options as well. And this phenomenon has compelled old and young people, previously out of the digital financial system, to begin to use some of these services. What is happening? A lot of people are leaving their digital footprints behind, and this is becoming easier for frauds to tap into. So firstly, like I said before, in the region in sub-Saharan Africa, customer education is key. Banks, regulators must intensify education and campaigns to sensitize and enlighten their citizens about data protection. They should educate their people to always verify communications directly with their banks. I know a number of us always get emails from our IT about phishing, and most of us really tend to avoid this. It's a very, very critical thing for you not to avoid, because it's one of the areas where fraudsters are really, really trying to tap it. But again, in order to be agile in preventing and managing fraud, organizations need to employ enterprise-wide omni-channel strategies and solutions, one that enables them to quickly respond to a variety of fraud innovations, helping clients with consultative approach on a day-to-day basis to create the right rules. This is not specific to any country. We are seeing this globally. And I think as we all try to see how to get into Sudan, as we all try to see the opportunity in Sudan, to me, I don't see a gap. I'm just seeing fintechs going into Sudan and bridging the divide. But as we go in, it's all about building bridges and digital economies. Now, the other questions that sometimes I ask myself is, for you to do that, do you have agile, real-time fraud detection and prevention solutions with configurable, user-defined and system-suggested business rules with hundreds of parameters to be able to evaluate and validate transactions? These are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Are there machine learning and behavioral profiling of all the entity profiles such as cards, terminals, merchants, accounts, in order to analyze complex data to detect unusual activities, both financial and non-financial? Well, at BPC Redo Payments, we can help with consultative approach when it comes to all this. And that's why we're very, very much keen to see how we get into Sudan market, and not only Sudan, but you're already doing this in the region, globally, and in Sub-Sahara as well. Again, as I summarize, when you think of the Smart Vista solution with the Smart Vista fraud solution, Smart Vista fraud management solution, it purely helps issuers, acquirers, and other entities to detect and prevent fraud across all payment channels. And I'm talking about real-time here. The solution covers real-time and transactions monitoring and facilitates the performance of statistical profiling to granular and multi-hierarchy levels such as card, terminal, merchants, and devices. As I summarize the way I started, Africa is not an opportunity. Africa is happening, and so is Sudan. Let us not be left behind. Let us be part of building this ecosystem. And we are very, very much keen as BPC, to be able to be part of this journey, not only in Sudan, like I said, because we're already doing this in different regions. But remember, as digital transformation is happening, as we bridge the gaps from the digital divide, fraud is something with us. So this is something we need to tackle as all of us as a group, as a team, and we have to leverage this through partnerships and our collaborations. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and really, really excited to be part of the Sudan Summit. Thank you once again.
Right, Frank, thank you for your presentation. So a few questions for you. So first of all, attendees, BBC has a booth at the exhibition area. If you all have any more questions, please do, visit the booth and ask for more questions. Now, for some questions for you, Frank, your products and services, where have you used recently, other than Sudan and Kenya, in other African countries? Where have you used it?
Sorry, you broke a bit. You're asking where have we used it? I mean, BPC as a company, we are in over 90 countries now globally. Again, we've done over 20 switches globally, but in Africa, we have over 10. One of our key customers in Africa is Bank of Africa. And, in all over 17 countries where they're present, we've been able to deploy our solutions as well. And this is still growing in the region, so to speak.
Okay. There is someone who knows your bio very well. Qusay Ali is asking you a question. Considering your career at MasterCard and knowledge of 3Ds, how can we leverage these services in Sudan?
Well, I mean, again, I think Ali is talking about, I've had over 18 years experience in the payment space. And basically, like I said, in Sudan, we just don't want to focus on one thing and just one approach. In Sudan, we need to look at building a whole ecosystem. We're talking about bridging the divide. Sudan can easily leapfrog from just having the traditional way of doing business and moving into digital. And this is the beauty of having a system like Smart Vista that has all modules come together, and everything is going to be included into one. So to me, I look at it as, from a payments perspective, what we're looking at in Sudan is just not one solution. We're looking at how do we bridge that divide by doing a whole ecosystem that is going to touch into everything. And that's the quickest way to leapfrog technology.
Perfect, Frank. Thank you for your time and your presentation. Hope to see you in Sudan next year in person.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a nice day.